In a recent shocking incident that took away the life of an IT engineer in Bengaluru is trending in our country. Atul Subhash, working in an IT firm in Bengaluru, tragically ended his life, and the reason he gave was that his wife, in-laws and the corruption in the family court system as the driving force behind his death. Before taking this drastic step, Atul left behind a 24-page suicide note and a 90-minute video in which he detailed the emotional and financial torment he had to endure. His accusations were sharp. He blamed his wife and in-laws for making false allegations and pushing him into an ongoing legal battle that drained him both mentally as well as financially. Now, in his video, Atul also directed his anger at the family court system, which he believed had failed him, dragging his case on with no resolution in sight. Atul's tragic end has thrown a spotlight on the challenges men face in marital disputes, exposing a system that often seems to favor women while neglecting the emotional and financial toll on them. His case has raised tough questions about the fairness of family laws and the mental health struggles that go unnoticed in such high pressure situations. Now let us try to understand the legal battle that broke Atul. Now Atul's prolonged legal fight with his wife and in-laws became the centerpiece of his emotional downfall. He accused his wife and her family of making false claims against him, which led to a never-ending series of court hearings. The accusations were harsh, the proceedings slow, and the stress unbearable. Atul felt that the legal system, particularly the family court, was biased against him with little regard for his emotional well-being. Now let us try to understand the law and the alimony and how it strains financially. Alimony, also known as spousal support, is a legal obligation for one spouse to pay another spouse financial support before or after a divorce or separation. The purpose of alimony is to help the recipient maintain their standard of living after divorce. The financial burden placed on Atul during his legal battle was one of the key factors that drove him to suicide. Under section 125 of the Criminal Procedure Code, men are obligated to pay alimony to their wives if they are unable to maintain themselves, especially in cases of divorce or separation. Now, this section was designed to prevent women and children from being left destitute after a marriage breakdown. However, the law can often feel unbalanced. In the year 2020, the Supreme Court's Rajneesh versus Neha verdict set guidelines for uniformity in maintenance and alimony cases. The verdict stressed factors like the income of both spouses, the duration of the marriage, the needs of the child, and the overall status of both parties when determining alimony. This decision was important, but it failed to address a critical aspect: how the overwhelming financial and emotional toll of alimony can affect men, especially when cases drag on for years. Though Section 24 of the Hindu Marriage Act allows a deserving husband to claim maintenance if his income is insufficient, the reality is far more complex. Legal battles often continue for years, with applications for interim maintenance pending indefinitely. In many cases, men find themselves financially drained and emotionally battered by the ongoing strain of alimony payments. The Rajneesh verdict also highlighted the backlog and delays in the family courts, causing maintenance applications to be prolonged for years. These delays, along with the mounting financial strain, become unbearable for many men. Atul's case shows how legal systems intended to protect can, in fact, sometimes push people to the brink of suicide. Now let us understand the emotional and financial toll, which is a growing crisis in our country. Now the toll on Atul's ongoing legal battle was devastating. Legal fees accumulated quickly, and the demands for alimony put an immense strain on his finances. But it wasn't just the money. Atul felt emotionally crushed. isolated by the unrelenting pressure and the inability to move on with his life. Each court session, each delay, and each unfounded accusation seemed to deepen his sense of hopelessness. Men in similar situations often face an emotional crisis, right, that is rarely acknowledged. While women's struggles in family disputes are often highlighted, men's emotional and mental health challenges are frequently overlooked. For Atul, this system's bias and the slow pace of justice left him feeling trapped in a never-ending cycle of legal battles with no escape in sight. Now let us understand the parental alienation and the child custody, which is a silent struggle. Now another heartbreaking dimension of Atul's case was the issue of his child. In addition to the emotional and financial toll, Atul had to deal with the painful reality of parental alienation. His wife, according to the statements, demanded a substantial amount of money, reportedly 1 lakh per month, just for allowing him to see his child. This demand added an unbearable layer to an already suffocating situation. In India, custody laws are designed to protect the best interests of the child. However, in many cases, the rights of fathers are overlooked, leading to a sense of injustice. Atul's struggle to maintain a relationship with his child was compounded by the financial demands and the drawn-out legal processes. Now, this is a situation many men in marital disputes face, where the legal system's focus on the mother's rights can overshadow the father's role despite his willingness to contribute to the child's well-being. The issue of parental alienation, where one parent actively discourages the child from having a relationship with the other parent, is a growing concern. In Atul's case, the alienation added to his emotional turmoil, leading him to feel disconnected from his child while being financially burdened. Now let us try to talk about a system that favors one side, and there is a need for a balance. The tragedy of Atul Subhash has sparked a much needed conversation about the flaws in the legal system and its impact on men. The disproportionate emphasis on alimony, custody battles, and delays in legal proceedings have left many men feeling victimized by a system that appears to favor women. Atul's case is a tragic example of how the systemic issues can push individuals to the breaking point. Public outrage following Atul's death has led to calls for reforms in the family court system. Some have even demanded that his wife be fired from her position at Accenture, citing the public nature of the case. However, beyond the anger and blame, the conversation needs to shift towards creating a more balanced and fair system. Men like Atul need to be seen as victims of circumstances, not as perpetrators or the silent bystanders in marital disputes. Now, Atul Subhash's life and death have exposed a critical need for legal reforms that consider the emotional and financial toll on both men and women. It is essential that the family court system evolves to handle such cases with empathy and efficiency, ensuring that both parties have equal access to justice. Equally important is the need for mental health support systems for individuals going through long and draining legal battles. Men, like women, need access to counseling, therapy, and emotional support during such trying times. Atul's death should serve as a wake-up call to all of us, both to address the inherent flaws in our legal system and to ensure that no one, regardless of gender, has to endure such profound emotional and financial strain.